Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy, Nerd Mode On, and I'll be doing a gameplay commentary over some Call of Duty Ghosts. In this particular episode, I'll be using the Honey Badger on the map Flooded. Now, to quickly talk a little bit about the Honey Badger, because I find it to be one of my favorite assault rifles in this particular Call of Duty, and it's quickly becoming probably one of the better guns in the game, for completely different reasons. So let's start off with the benefits that it brings to the table. It has a built-in silencer. And having a built-in silencer is absolutely phenomenal because you don't get to see the repercussions that come along with adding one later on. For example, when you guys, maybe you like to use the AK-12 and you're like, man, I'm kind of feeling going silent today. Well, you get to see your range decrease, you get to see so many statistics that don't really pop on the little chart there. They do affect you tremendously. And if you have a gun that already has it built in, you're seeing exactly how it's going to perform. You already know what's going to happen. And you kind of understand the fundamentals. If you really dig deep into Call of Duty and you're a statistics guy like myself, you kind of know exactly your maximum range to engage your target, and you also know your minimum range. You happen to know your rounds per minute isn't affected, you know your damage output, may that be maximum and minimum, and you just have so much information that you don't have to do some calculations on. You don't have to grab that pen and paper and start figuring out at 17 meters how much damage that gun's going to be doing, because it's not important. You kind of already know. And that's just something to take into account. It's kind of nice to be able to figuratively just know that your gun's going to work the way that it's described as. Now, of course, guys, built-in silencers is an absolute amazing feature to have because, one, people in Call of Duty like to look at the minimap. That's not just Call of Duty, but in most Call of Duty games or in other franchises, people drift heavily to that map because it's the one thing that tells you information about people inside of buildings, underground, behind other obstacles. It's just a great thing to use. And considering that most people don't use silencers, or at least it's not the most common thing that you commonly see, it's something that gives away positions. It allows you to kind of figure out if you want to flank your oppositional player, if you really want to run straight at him and just kind of play rock, paper, scissors and see who's going to win, and just many other things. But having the ability to have the jump on your opposition is huge, and it's, in most cases, really nice. Now let's talk a little bit about sound because that's something that relays into this a little bit more. Most of you guys know for the last 3 years, Call of Duty has had probably the worst sound of all time. The guns just sound really weird. Footsteps have never been in Call of Duty for the last 3 years. I mean, they are tremendously better in this particular one, but if you go back way in the last couple, you kind of know that, sound whoring was gone. They were like, no, that's a really good skill that we don't want people to use because it requires you to actually pay money for good headsets. And they kind of just stripped that away from you. And it sucked, myself included. I have a $250 headset, and, well, not to be able to use it's kind of against the purpose of it. I mean, it kind of takes away the self-proposed purpose of having a headset. And it's nice to see that they actually listened to the community, they re-implemented it into their game, and they're actually making it a little bit more enjoyable for everybody that maybe dropped a little bit more money on the table. Now, of course, guys, let's quickly talk a little bit about when it comes down to why I like the gun. Statistically speaking, it's an absolute phenomenal weapon. It's an assault rifle, so it's made for medium to long ranges in most cases. That's not to say that it's not great for close range, but you kind of have to drop shot, you have to do other tactics that maybe are frowned upon by the community. You guys will see me multiple times in this video, I literally am doing cock push-ups. Because, quite frankly, I mean, if I can get the advantage and I can try to minimize the amount of hits I'm taking, I'm going to win that gunfight. And this is nothing new. Call of Duty has been probably one of the most notorious games for jump shotting, drop shotting, snaking, the list goes on. There's so many different bugs that were never fixed. Now, am I telling you that they need to be fixed? Quite frankly, I don't really care. They're annoying, but, it's not as bad as some things that you guys know that I would love to see changed. Now, of course, with that in mind, let's jump a little bit into why this gun plays pretty good on this map. The amount of ranges that you kind of come up against are a little bit more medium to long. That's not to say that you're not going to have to come into the middle and try to jump through that water pool of just absolute phenomenal messes, because Flooded's not a great map. I don't know many people that when Flooded comes up, they're like, I cannot wait to play that map. It's an absolute amazing map, and I think I like everything about it. That just doesn't happen as much. But of course, many of you guys have probably figured out that it's an alright map, it's not my favorite, it's not the worst, but when it comes down to it, I'd much rather play anything else. So trying to stick to the outside of the map is going to be your best bet. Shooting at the guys going through the middle of the map is also going to lead to you winning so many gunfights. And I highly recommend, if you guys haven't been doing that, to try to jump into it. So in conclusion, guys, I recommend the Honey Badger to you guys. I think you'll really like it. It has absolutely amazing iron sights if you haven't given it a try. And if you guys have given a little bit of a swirl to it, try it out again and see if it's something you'll be interested in with all the information I've provided you guys with. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. This is NMO, and I'm going to be signing out, guys. Peace.